God is going to judge you for running your mouth. I guarantee you it's not God. Okay, well, I'm glad this is going to take. As a man of the Most High God, I am not a man of God if you live out your natural life. I guarantee you, brother, and I'm saying it before the whole congregation of Israel, I guarantee you, you don't see your natural thing on this earth. I say it because I'm a prophet, and I put it out there in front of everybody to prove to all unbelievers. Oh, God.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to San Miguel TV. This is San Miguel. This is a special day for me because today was the day that my older brother passed away 11 years ago. And it reminds me of a few stories because at that time, 2009, I was in this cult, which is called the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ. Now, I was actually brought into the Icgjc by a younger cousin of mine who was learning over the phone and had attended class in New York City once. But we were living in Orlando at the time where they didn't have an actual building yet. I think she was 17 years old at the time. She actually went on tour with Tazadaqyah almost immediately after joining the church. I remember that she wanted to leave the church after the tour. I don't know what happened, but she definitely wanted to leave the church. Something happened on that tour bus. I've heard many stories. I heard condoms were found in the bathroom during that so-called world tour that Tazadaqyah had, which was actually just a nationwide tour. Not even that, he just toured the eastern coast pretty much of the United States. Now 4 or 5 years later, after being in this cult, my older brother passed away in 2009. We went to the funeral in New York. Now before we could even bury my brother, here comes a friend of mine who was talking in front of my cousin, and he says something about Tazadaqyah, like mocking Tazadaqyah. As soon as my cousin heard that, she tells my friend, you shouldn't talk like that about Tazadaqyah because look what happened to my brother. As if God killed my brother because he was speaking against Tazadaqyah and the doctrine of the Icgjc. Even Yashar, who was the chief priest at the time, I had to call him up to let him know I won't be attending classes. I gotta fly out to New York, so I won't be here that week. And first thing he asked me was if my brother was a believer in the Icgjc, in the truth, which I responded, nah, he wasn't. He was actually trying to get me out of that place, which he responded, well, there you go, there you have it. As if, that's the reason why he died, which it was a car accident. Now that Tazadaqyah is dead, they don't use that same logic, for the death of Tazadaqyah. They're actually honoring this man as if he was an honorable man all his life, which we know that he wasn't. There's a lot of information that you can find of past relationships, his baby mom. They'll tell you all these things about Tazadaqyah. I mean, and who knows better than an ex-wife? Now, my cousin Tazawwarrior had some type of secret relationship with Tazadaqyah. She used to go on dates with Tazadaqyah. He used to take her out. She used to come back home and we used to live together at the time. And my cousin would come back home and she'll tell me everything that he would say, all the breakdowns or whatever. So they had a really a really tight relationship, but it was secretive because what I know now, and it can be confirmed by other members in the city of Orlando, is that my cousin Tazawwarrior was Tazadaqyah's spy. She used to tell on people in the city of Orlando and keep a watch on the teachers and the members, the chief priest and all that who was in Orlando at the time. A lot of this information that Tazadaqyah was getting was just coming from a spy. He would make you think like he got this as a revelation from God or something. I speak a lot about my history with the cult. And I've brought out some information in the past. I've deleted some videos, but I wanted to bring this back out because it's important. Tazawwarrior was forced into a relationship with a member of the Icgjc named Tazadaqyah. Now, they were courting for a short time, and something happened for whatever reason. Tazadaqyah did not want to continue with the courtship. So he had a council, and in that council, he was told by Tazadaqyah that they're supposed to be together, that Tazadaqyah and my cousin Tazawwarrior were supposed to be together, and you know, he just knows this. Now, I found out later that Tazawwarrior actually wanted to take her life. She wanted to commit suicide because she had an argument with her spouse, because Tazadaqyah forced that marriage. That brother really didn't want to be with her, but they had continued to have kids. And he told her one night, like straight up, like, you know, I really don't want to be with you. I'm not really happy. He didn't want her. That was forced on him because Tazadaqyah has some type of relationship with Tazawwarrior. And I don't know, for whatever reason, you know, he pushed Tazadaqyah in that direction. So now you give him a conclusion, and they're gonna try to fulfill that. You know, I always loved my cousin, but that cult turned her into a piece of crap. It really turned her into a horrible person. You know, she's ruined relationships with a lot of family members just because they don't agree with what she believes. You know, you don't really hear this in churches and just regular religions where you must agree with what this person believes or you can't hang out. And you know, they use scriptures for all that all the time. It's all crap, man. You know, some of my best relationships are with believers in the Bible. I don't care. You know, we talk about it. We don't talk about it much because they're going to believe what they want to believe. And I understand, and I'm all right with somebody having faith. But I'm also all right with pointing out the ignorance and inconsistencies of your faith. The people that are in the cult, they're not necessarily stupid. They're just usually people that are gullible and don't like to speak up. They don't like to rebuttal certain things. They like to just go with the flow. They don't like confrontations. They're like sheep that could just be pushed in whatever direction the cult leader wants to push them in. That's the ones that usually fall into these cults. People that are just nonchalant, that are easygoing, that don't like confrontation, and you know, they get caught up into these cults. They isolate you from your family. They isolate you from people that love you, that's going to tell you, you know, this is not a good idea to be in this type of organization. It's sad that, you know, I was once in this place, but this is sort of like my redemption. This is why I make these videos, because I did bring in some people into this place, but now I want to get people out because, you know, I was wrong. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong. They always try to make you feel embarrassed because you were once in this place. Like, I'm talking about like Basil himself. Like, why y'all never said nothing when y'all was in this cult? But now that y'all out, y'all want to talk. That's the mind state of a person in the cult. They don't speak about it. And the environment that's created in the cult is not made for you to speak out. That's why you said, well, the Comforter done said it one time, you were granted immunity. Anything you wanted to say. Why did you have to be granted immunity, you idiot? You don't even realize the things you be saying, Basil. Now, I know you ain't gonna respond. I know Tazadaqyah said don't respond to San Miguel because you have no response to me. And I'm exposing y'all for the cult tactics that y'all using constantly. The spying system. I mean, what else y'all want out here? You know, these cats, I mean, they're kept in closed environment. They command you not to watch my videos. I mean, you could get put out for just watching my videos. What is that? You can't even use your own mind and decipher whether what I'm saying makes sense or not. They don't even want you to hear it. That's called information control. And this is part of what cults do to keep their members in line. They make sure that the information that's out there against the cult never gets heard. I mean, all the documents, all the court records, you could look this up yourself. And you can read and see Tazadaqyah's testimony, his statement. There's a lot of people in Orlando that, y'all need to wake up, man. Amath, you a brother that you're hiding information, bro. You hiding information about Tazadaqyah. You were hiding the information about the 501c3.
Go find the 501c3 papers and email
I'm definitely going to find them now.
I can look forward to your email.
I'm definitely going to find them now. The 501c3 in Orlando is under Amath's name. You can go under the Clerk of Court's website, the Orange County Clerk of Court's website, and type in Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, whose initials come up on the paperwork? It's all EA, a moth. You all over all the paperwork. That's why I'm coming at you. That's why I'm putting out all your information. Y'all love to be all secretive, but I'm gonna expose you, and I'm gonna keep exposing y'all. All y'all try to do is just ignore. Y'all use shunning techniques, which is typical cult tactic. Why do you have to shun somebody? You can't be open to speak. There's all types of Israelites out there who I've spoken to. I mean, I know the Sakari Israelites, they're willing to talk to people and answer questions live. Why Tazadaqyah only gave the opportunity during that one time when he did the radio show? How come you can never have a conversation, even in the church? You can never speak up and say, you know, I don't agree with this. This ain't right. You get put out. You have to agree with everything that the leaders teach and say and do. And if you get caught speaking against them, you get reported immediately because of the tattling system, the spying system. And my cousin was the #1 spy. She's a teacher's pet. She sits there watching Tazadaqyah with wide eyes. She be crying in class. Like, she's emotionally attached to this cult. And that's emotional control. You know, just like her husband, Tazadaqyah. I mean, this cat was the enforcer of the tithes, the damn treasury in Orlando. He used to get on brothers and sisters for not paying their money, for not paying 20% tithes. I remember one time I didn't pay 20%. I didn't pay my full tithe. This cat, Tazadaqyah, went in my past payments and started looking and saying, well, why is it less than it used to be? And this is what he would do, and start asking questions. And I told him, I was like, well, I couldn't pay because I have to pay rent. I'm not gonna put the cult before my rent money. But this is what this brother, Tazadaqyah, tries to push people to do. And he be with the wide eyes. Yo, you gotta be scared. Yo, you didn't pay all your tithes. You gotta be scared. You corny, dude. You was always corny. With your damn fake ass Shield of David and your big aviator glasses. You corny, bro. I remember one time I was already out of this cult. And this is probably around 2012 or 2013. And this was around the time when the doll was made, and it never got put out, and this whole lawsuit happened. But Tazadaqyah was trying to get this doll made of himself and sell it at to the members of the Icgjc for like 3 times the price that he paid for it. How do I know that? Because that's what the lawsuit shows. The lawsuit shows that how much he paid and how much he was going to charge, because when he sued that company, he charged them, or he sued them according to what he was going to make from the members. But yeah, he was trying to charge the member like 3 times what he paid for those dolls. Each one was worth like $40. He was going to charge out $120. So, I mean, where was that money going to go? It was going to go into his pocket. You think all that money goes right back into the church? How do you know that? You don't know that. That's part of the cycle in this damn Icgjc. But when this happened, I was teaching somebody, and the person that I was teaching told me, yo, I heard that this guy made a doll. And I was like, nah, I used to work with this cat. And I was like, nah, I don't think that sounds like, that doesn't even sound true. I would never think that Tazadaqyah would do that. So I told him, I was like, that's not true. What are you talking about? I never heard that, which I literally didn't. And so I called this one brother that I knew, whose name was Rasha, who wasn't in the church either. So, I was like, all right, let me call him. He probably knows. Let me ask him. So I called him and asked. I was like, yo, is it true that Tazadaqyah made a doll? Somebody told me that. And Rasha was like, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, he made a doll. So what? I was like, I'm just asking because I never heard that, and I'm trying to teach somebody, and they mentioned the doll. I'm like, I didn't know if it was true. I thought it was a lie. And that was the end of the conversation. Tazadaqyah brings that up one day because he was staying with my aunt. This was during a time where he didn't have no place to stay. He had to bring all his kids and his wife under his wife's mom's crib and had to stay there for some time. And when I went up in there one time to see my family and to see my aunt, he was up in there. He's like, yo, I gotta talk to you. He's like, yo, did you ask Rasha about the doll? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, you know, you could ask me. And I was like, well, you know, I didn't think about asking you. I don't call you. I don't really talk to this cat. He was like, well, you know, Tazadaqyah spoke about it. He made a video about it. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I just want to know if it was true, because as I was teaching somebody, they brought that up and I told them that I don't think that's true. But come to find out, it was actually true. All right, so this is the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ's official council request form. And this was given to me by somebody who came across this, who used to be with a member who had high rank in the church, and she still had access to his email account. So these council request forms were coming up in the emails, and she just so happened to come across this, and she felt the need to contact me. And this is pretty much the story behind the suicidal elect lady who is my cousin Tazadaqyah. Okay, so we're gonna read here in the bottom. It says, requesting counsel in order to fix the issues within my marriage. My wife explained to me that she feels like I'm only with her because of obligation. So, as I said, this marriage was put together and arranged by Tazadaqyah himself. My Tazak and my cousin Tazadaqyah were going through a courtship first, and my Tazak, for whatever reason, made the decision to end it, and Tazadaqyah didn't allow that. And he actually told his brother that they're supposed to be together, and that he somehow knows this. So he's given them a conclusion that now they feel obligated to stay together. And this is exactly what he's explaining here. Now he says, after 6 years of her questioning me about how I feel about her, I told her exactly how I've been feeling. I explained to her that I remember what it feels like to be madly in love with someone, and I never felt those strong emotions for her. So this is obvious right here that this guy never even wanted to be in the marriage. He was forced into this. And after 6 years, he's finally realizing that, you know, this is not what he wants. And in that cult, it doesn't matter what you want. It's about what Tazadaqyah wants. And then he says, once I explained this to her, she decided to kill herself because she said she couldn't live with this. I informed Chief Priest Tazadaqyah, who in turn got my wife and I on the phone with Holy Apostle Icgjc. After that phone call, she accepted, finally realized that she can't kill herself. But now she feels stuck, and we need counsel in order to get past this. So this is a council request form regarding Mana Tazak and my cousin Tazadaqyah. And it should be clear from this council report or this council request form that this guy was forced into a marriage. He was obligated. That's why she's questioning him. Are you only with me because of obligation? Which is obviously, why would you want to be with a guy that doesn't even want to be with you? And this is the doing of Tazadaqyah. They still together even after Tazadaqyah's death. The only reason why they continued to be together was because Tazadaqyah pretty much told them that he knows a secret. He knows that they're supposed to be together. And this is how these cults warp people's minds. And now you have kids coming up in a family where there's no real love. All right, so this is a group chat between some bishops and chief priests of the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, Orlando branch. Now, I know these brothers. I was, just a week before this, this brother, Mana Tazak, literally had his kids in my crib and my wife feeding them and bathing them and all that. And now all of a sudden, he got all this damn energy just because I don't agree with the damn belief, because I'm a former member. So, as you could read this says, this nigga Dirty Sanchez. So this was their nickname for me once I left the cult. I don't know when this started, but this damn thing looked like it started right away. They must have had that name even before I said anything. So it says this nigga Dirty Sanchez texted my wife while the radio show was going on that he's never coming back. This cat is dead! Exclamation mark. He's going to get the second death before the lake of fire even shows up. Laugh out loud. Like, this is funny that I'm gonna die and burn in the lake of fire. And it's ironic that now your cult leader is dead. And at this point, he probably got worms crawling out of his skull. Or if he was cremated like a damn witch. You know, I mean, where's the logic here? Where's the consistency in your logic? You talking about people dying all the time. Like it's a joke. And here comes a mop. Yo, that's crazy. He done messed up. And, you know, I mean, these nicknames and calling people, you know, derogatory names. I already spoke about that in one of my past videos.
They generate deep suspicions, if not outright hostility, towards non-members, especially those who once believed but subsequently left the group. Defectors from these cults, sometimes called apostates or other more derogatory names, I'm sure you've heard this, are from the perspective of their former groups, the worst outsiders, because they once had the truth. I want to emphasize the truth. But now turn their backs on it.
And what's crazy about this is that when I saw these messages, I kept it to myself. I never said nothing. And I actually seen Tazadaqyah after that. We were at my cousin's wedding. One of my cousins got married, and I saw him, and my cousin Tazadaqyah was there too. Tazadaqyah looked at me and said hi, as if everything was all good. Meanwhile, he didn't know that all this time, you know, I know that you're texting all this crazy stuff about me. And I didn't come at him in any way because, I mean, I know the mind state of the people in there. I was kind of expecting that already. They're like con artists. They're just like their leader, Tazadaqyah. They're trained to be con artists, to keep things secret. Tazadaqyah, my cousin, was very depressed during this time. And you would never think that. My aunt would always tell me, oh, she seems so happy. Everything seems so fine. Because that's the front. She purposely has to front as if everything is all good. Because if she makes it seem like things are not, you know, going good and she's depressed, she knows that it's going to make the church look bad. So she's doing all of that to protect the church. She's hiding her true emotions. She's suppressing her emotions because she doesn't want to make the church look bad. So there's a lot of suppression going on in that church, depression and oppression. All of that's going on. It gets suppressed because people don't want to make the church look bad, and their families will point that out and show them, like, look what this church is doing to you. So they actually hide all of that and make it seem as if everything is all good. But behind closed doors, there's a lot of depression going on, and there's a lot of suicidal members in this Icgjc. I really don't expect a lot of these members to be leaving just because Tazadaqyah died. But you never know. I mean, they were not allowed to go, and no churches were allowed to gather for months because of this coronavirus pandemic. All this time away, and then Tazadaqyah passes away. It could have some type of effect. I'm hearing that there are members that have been leaving, and you might see something real soon. Hopefully, of big names and big ranks leaving the Icgjc.
Unfortunately, that's it. I'm the God-sent comforter. All you demons are being kicked good to hell. And the FBI, CIA, Babylon the Great, your end is coming. God Almighty is real, and you're going to face His judgment. You're going to see His judgment all over this world and all in America. And when God's judgment hits this land, all you unbelievers is going to be taken out. God's comforter. Shalom.